Good afternoon. I am Reverend Numa Romoseni, the host of Ukwanit Amaka TV inaugural interview with the President General, Brigadier General Mike Ndubisi, retired and not tired. Is also the MD of Tana Corporate Security Service. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you so much.
Welcome.
Yeah.
So please, can you tell us more about yourself?
Well, with the brief introduction you've given me, let me just add that I'm a retired Brigadier General from the Nigerian Army. I left service in December 2006 after about 34 years plus meritorious service. I left, I got retired, I was retired, and since then I've been in private endeavors. Like you said, I set up the security services, standard corporate security services. And I must say that it has been a worthwhile experience.
Okay.
My services in the military had been a training ground for me. And running the security outfit has been very, very fulfilling. And I'm grateful to God that I took up that aspect of um, business, and I've never really regretted it. I really thank God for that. So briefly, that's it.
All right. Thank you so much, sir. That means that you have a lot of experience in the Nigerian Army, and we believe that those experiences can be useful to Nigeria. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you so much.
So please, what inspired you to run for President General of the NNU, and what were you able to achieve in the office?
Okay, if you talk of inspiration to run for it, I thank God that the President Generalship of the NNU is rotational. So when it was the turn of Okwani local government, I'm from Okwani local government, to run for it, I just felt that it should not be ideal for one to fold his arms and allow those who are not supposed to be there to be there. Obviously, if you do that and they don't do well, you don't have to blame the guy that is not doing well. You blame yourself for not coming out to run when you had the opportunity of doing that. And so I came out believing that, yes, in the Okwani local government area, I was most qualified. Frankly speaking, also, I asked my very good friend, Engineer GOC Amochi, if he was interested to come out, because he's a very good friend to me, and I don't see both of us, vying for the same position. I would have allowed him to come in, then I'll be on the background, because I also felt perhaps he could do better than I.
Okay.
But he gave me his words that he wasn't going to come out for that, and that was why I came. So what inspired me, like you asked, obviously it's because I wanted to see Ndokwa Nation, on the next level. I really was not happy the way it was being run by particularly the two previous guys from Sustainably and Chief Johnson opponent. I really wasn't satisfied with the way it was being run, and I felt that I should come and add more pep, so to say, to it.
Okay.
And indeed, I said also that the building of an Ndokwa house would be done during my tenure. If there was nothing I was going to do visible,
Okay.
at least something very practical and very visible was in the Ndokwa house. And I came out and, what we have today is, although not commissioned yet, but at least it's an evidence of my inspiration and determination as well.
Okay. That was a good one, sir. You're able to have the Ndokwa House,
Yeah.
and we look forward that a time will come that we'll commission it.
Yeah.
That was a great one. Well done, sir.
Thank you.
How would you describe your leadership style, and how did you engage with other members?
Okay, talking about leadership styles, I think leadership styles is dependent on the individual. I must say that I try to carry everyone along, particularly my members of my ESCO. I wasn't autocratic, as it were. I carried people along and very open. I also had a listening ear. I never did anything on my own. I really asked for opinions from my ESCO members before I ventured into events that or activities that the NNU was going to be involved in. I was very open, very transparent. I think I must say that was the characteristics of my leadership, as a matter of fact.
Okay, thank you, sir. I observed that in most leadership, your predecessor and the successor, most times they don't have many things in common. Most times, some of them don't even work with the successor. In your leadership style, were you able to carry out some skill and abilities to carry your previous, that means your predecessors? Because you spoke about the previous two guys, which you mentioned in this interview. Were you able to carry them along, or did they support you to ensure that the dreams and the aspirations that you have
Yeah.
are being manifested?
Quite unfortunately, it wasn't so. It was very, very unfortunate, I must say, because very unfortunate. Farmer Sustainably never handed did not hand over to Johnson Opponent.
Okay.
And in my own,
Did he give you any reasons? Do you find any reasons for not doing that?
well, I think Farmer Sustainably felt that perhaps Johnson Opponent, he wasn't happy with the emergence of Johnson Opponent as
Okay.
the PG.
Okay.
One, uh, if you look at the constitution of the NNU, you will see that an incumbent, at least 6 months or so, I think either 2 or 6 months before the expiration of your administration, you should set up a committee, an electoral committee to midwife the election for your successors.
Successor, yeah.
Farmer Senebeli never did that.
Okay.
And most of us thought, that he wanted a tenure elongation, maybe through the back door. If he had come out to say he wanted a second term, obviously, Ndokwa Nation would have obliged him. But he never did that. And so, few weeks to the end of his tenure, he was nowhere to be found. They couldn't set up an electoral committee. So obviously, stakeholders, serious stakeholders in Ndokwa Nation came up to say, no, we cannot run the NNU this way. And eventually, they set up a caretaker committee that ran it for some few months before the electoral committee set up by that caretaker committee, organized elections that brought in Johnson Opponent. So Farmer Senebele wasn't happy, and so he refused to hand over to Johnson Opponent.
Okay.
Unfortunately, also during Johnson Opponent's time too, as his tenure was ending, his tenure ended in May 2020. He too could not also organize an election
Okay.
before leaving. Again, stakeholders stepped in and appointed a caretaker committee that ran it for almost 10 months, I think, before they also set up an electoral committee that they organized our own elections, and we came in. I don't know what was the grouse for Johnson opponent not to hand over. He never handed over anyway. So that was the situation. Farmer Senebeli didn't hand over to Johnson opponent. Johnson opponent unfortunately did that. So I also felt that, well, I wasn't going to carry them along. As a matter of fact, there's no reason why you shouldn't hand over. I should have, as a matter of fact, cooperated with Farmer Senebeli, because during his own tenure, his own administration, he used me like I was a member of the I mean, his own ESCO.
ESCOs or members.
Yeah, so I cooperated with him a lot, but he never cooperated with me as we speak.
So what do you mean that he did not cooperate with you? He was the president general, all right, and he has directives, he has the vision. So he believes in you, and he gave you some responsibility.
So much.
So why he did not cooperate with you? And you are part. He has brought into his system to make sure that his aspirations and dreams are achieved. So how come he didn't cooperate with you at the end?
Well, I don't know. Well, frankly speaking, when I came on board, my administration, he handed over some documents to us.
Okay.
And even the boss, NNU boss, that my very good friend, Ken Okolobo, donated to NNU when Ken was an executive director, I think, in other commissioner executive director in the Sopadec.
Sopadec, yeah.
Yes, so Ken donated the boss. So Fountainably handed over those. But he still has about 5.4 million in two separate accounts in Zenith Bank. He refused the NNU to have access to the money. As to speak, I think the money is still there, but the account should be dormant now. Since 2015, they operated it last. I think the account is dormant. Okay. So just because he never cooperated anyway. And I said, well, I didn't have anything to do with those who will not cooperate with the incumbent administration.
Okay.
So throughout my own administration, the activities that the NNU carried out, I obviously did not invite them to participate in our activities. That is, the two previous PGs, Famasenebele and Johnson Opone, I left them out. I did it. So obviously, they had no input in whatever the current administration is doing.
Wow. So you did not see any reason to carry them along in your leadership?
No, I don't. Yeah.
Okay. From your explanation, sir, we could observe that there are critical committee.
Yeah.
I hope
I would know. I won't allow you to finish that.
You will allow me to finish
There will
that.
be no caretaker committee during my own tenure.
Seriously?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, we have set up an electoral committee.
Okay.
Yeah, we've inaugurated them, and I think should be this week. Their publication should be out.
Okay.
There's going to be an election on the 8th of February because our own administration, our administration is ending on the 13th of February 2025. So there will be an election 2025. Okay. The electoral committee is preparing for that election. And so we'll hold the election on the 8th. And by 13th, we'll inaugurate the winners of that election into their various positions. So there's not going to be any caretaker committee.
No, wow, that's beautiful. Yes. All right, so you see it as one of the strengths of your leadership.
Yeah, sure.
So the things that have happened before shouldn't happen again.
Yeah.
You're welcome, sir.
Thank you.
I also observe that you have a lot of experiences. You have in the military, you are a private person, and you are now the President General of NNU. How would you say to yourself that you are fulfilled when you want to handle by 2025?
I must say that I am not fully fulfilled. I must be frank with you.
Okay.
One, because my dream project, the Ndokwa House, could not be commissioned during my own tenure. That's one. Then secondly, what I believe the NNU should have done, the Ndokwa Nation should have done during my tenure, could not be done due to paucity of funds, no funds at all. So I really would not be happy that my tenure was not too fulfilled for those obvious reasons. No funds to execute a lot of events and activities. And then the dream project, that's in the condition, which I must say that the Delta State government, first by His Excellency Governor Kowa, really helped us to start off the construction. Could not be, inaugurated or commissioned during my own tenure.
Okay.
So obviously, I have not really fulfilled
Fulfilled.
for such reasons.
So are you giving up because you still have between now and February? Do you have any source to raise fund? Because if as this interview is going on and maybe the excellency watched your interview and felt like, let me give you 1 billion, let me give you 500 million to achieve this vision before you hand over 2025, are you going to be happy? Can you sort for fund? We have the deputy as from Dundalk Nation. Are you looking forward for a means in this your short term that you have, the short months that you have, to sort for fund so you can achieve Dundalk House, which is your greatest vision? Do you have that kind of aspirations? Do you have that kind of mind? Do you have that kind of move? Are you still putting more energy to make sure you achieve it?
Well, if you ask me, I'll tell you nothing is impossible.
Okay.
But I have less than 3 months to go.
Yes, sir.
In fact, just 2 months as it were now. Just 2 months before my administration ends. I'm grateful to the government of Delta State, to the governor himself. We're looking up to the present governor, His Excellency Elder Sheriff Oborowari, to approve more funds. Obviously, the construction was stalled, due to the rising cost of building materials.
Okay.
That was when the contractor felt he could no longer continue with the initial fund that Governor Kowa approved. So we're looking onto the present governor, His Excellency Governor Sheriff, to approve more funds for us to complete it. My brother, between now and then, just 2 months will not be enough. Although the work there is just about, I think, 65% completion. But I don't think that we can complete it for inauguration before I leave within 2 months. I don't see the possibility. Anyway, I think my successor will
continue.
Will continue, yes, wherever we end. Yeah.
Okay. We have an issue in Nigeria of godfatherism. We've seen in various states of this country where the successor don't work with the predecessor. So I hope when you're handing over in 2025,
Yeah.
you will not also be in control of the NNU. You think so?
No, obviously, I like the electoral exercise that brought us in our own administration. Obviously, it was better than that of Johnson Opponent. There was more sanity in the election of our own current administration, and that's what I'm following also. So I'm making the clans the nucleus of the election. Most of these things are going around the clans, and then the clan heads or the monarchs of the communities, they are the ones to nominate the delegates. They are nominating delegates, and so what you see is that without the delegates or without the clans, picking or electing a PG or other ones for the various positions.
Yeah.
In what I'm trying to say is that there's not going to be much interference by even the incumbents.
Are you sure?
Very sure.
Most time the outgoing
will ensure that his own man comes.
He has his own candidate.
Yeah.
So are you not championing a candidate right now?
No, I'm not championing. No, I'm not championing a candidate.
Can you tell the Doka Nation that you are not championing a candidate?
Yeah, I'm telling the Doka Nation, I'm not championing.
Can they believe that statement very well?
Sure. Nobody brought me in.
Okay.
By the grace of God, God brought me in. So I don't expect to bring in anybody to take over from me. No. The best candidate, I think, by the grace of God, will win. I'm not going to flash anything. No. The electoral college is there. We expect 44 clan delegates from each local government area. Take, for instance, Ndokwa East has 22 clans. 22 clans. So we expect two delegates from each of the clans. Ndokwa West also is producing 44 delegates. Ndokwa West has 6 clans. So we expect around 7 or so from each clan. Then two extra. Want to give one to I think Utagbono, their population
Population.
extra.
Okay.
Yeah. So Okwane has 9 clans and producing 44 delegates. So we expect, I think about four, no, about 5-5 or so. Yeah, 5-5.
Okay.
Yes. Then Umwebu, because Umwebu is the smallest clan,
Smallest
it
clan,
will
yeah.
produce just 4. So that's how we're doing it.
Okay.
That's a part. Then other delegates will include the past president generals and their secretaries, and that the past chairman of the caretaker committee and their secretaries will be there. Then again, we have 30 members, 30 delegates, 10 from each of the LGAs, 10, some leaders of thought from the LGAs.
Okay.
Yeah, these ones are to be nominated by the incumbent exco. Yeah, so that's this. So with all these delegates, I really don't see how the one can influence, except the candidates themselves do proper, campaigning
Yeah.
and lobbying. Then they will get their votes. But I don't think that I will waste my time to ensure that somebody. No, I don't think I'll do
So
that
you,
really.
you are
No
you
influence.
no influence. You
By
be a part
incumbents, yeah.
and let the system flow.
Exactly.
It's okay.
That's yeah.
So how do you see yourself as a private person and as President General of NNU?
Yeah, well, yeah, mixing boats has
Okay.
been tough, particularly as a private person and running a security outfit. Here in Indokwa Nation, you discover that I have businesses in some of the oil companies, marginal field oil companies here in Indokwa Nation.
Okay.
And again, I am also the PG. So I have had a lot of restraints. I have to restrain myself, because there were certain things I would do. My clients in the oil industry will feel that is it
Because you are
because you are the
interested.
PG?
Yeah.
And at the same time too, I have to be careful. If I don't do certain things, then the Ndokwa Nation and my ESCO will feel that is it because you are these guys, these oil companies are your clients. That's why you don't want to take. So it's been a very strong, difficult situations that you have to actually
Manage.
think of certain ways, of handling the situation so that you are in between. You're neither too tough for this or too soft here, and so on.
Because we have seen situations where President General uses that office to enhance
Yeah,
their
yeah,
businesses.
yeah.
Instead of awarding some opportunities to some other firms, they uses their office to award it to them company. I hope yours
No,
is
no, I
not like
never
that
did that.
because you're not representing your firm only. You're representing
No,
the Ndokwa.
I didn't do that really.
You didn't do
There
that.
was no advantage. Yeah, I didn't use the advantage of being the PG to the advantage of my company. No, I didn't never did that.
All right, sir. Let's take two more questions and then we'll go on break. So we'll come back again. Did you get any more support from other members of the executive? And how did you ensure effective communication with them?
Yeah, it has been a very great experience with my ESCO members. As a matter of fact, if I have my way, one of those amendments will affect in the constitution, and the new constitution is the aspect of membership. ESCO members must be residents in Delta State. Yes,
Most.
should be resident in Delta State. Here, for instance, in my own ESCO, I have two great guys from Abuja, assistant secretary general, and the internal auditor. I have the legal advisor who either is in Lagos or in Port Harcourt also. I have the treasurer in Lagos, then the women leader in Port Harcourt.
Seriously.
Yes, then the Secretary General here in Ndokwa Nation, myself here in Ndokwa Nation, the youth leader in Kwale, PRO in Kwale. Okay, the first vice in Ashaka, second vice in Lagos. I must be frank with you. Those living outside the Delta State, it's been very difficult to get a hold of them. They're quite, but not. I mean,
What do you mean hold
some
of
of
them?
them,
What do you
you know,
mean? They're not
getting their
available.
cooperation,
They're not
getting their
available in terms of resources. They're not available in terms of
even
uh,
attending meetings,
meetings.
except very few.
Okay.
The second vice who lives in Lagos have been very, very cooperative, attends meetings despite the distance. The woman leader in Port Harcourt, she's been very wonderful, coming for um, meetings and activities from Port Harcourt. She's been
Okay.
very, very wonderful. Then all others not within this area, they don't come.
Wow.
It was initial times, you find the enthusiasm. Thereafter, it's unfortunate they don't come. But I want to believe that if there was enough money in the union, that whoever I came for a meeting, could go home with sitting allowance or transport
Okay.
fare,
Yeah.
obviously you would have been seeing them. But because they were going to spend their own money to attend, and the attendance has been very poor. So particularly those who stay outside um, the states, the
So
attendance has been poor.
so it means that your source of funding cannot help the members of the
NNU
union.
does not have any source of funding, for instance, except from membership. The
Seriously.
amount, yeah, and the money from membership dues, registration, and annual dues cannot go anywhere
Cannot
to
go.
fund the NNU. So
Wow.
obviously, you find yourself begging, begging for assistance, for support and so
Was
on. It's nothing to write home about.
all right. So it means amongst your executives, you have some persons who work with you with all their
Yeah.
energy to see that
Yeah,
your
we
vision.
succeed. The administration succeed, and there are some, particularly those who are living outside the state. They don't give a damn what happens. They don't attend meetings and
Did you do online meetings? Do you do because most
Zoom.
Zoom meetings? Because most time, because of distances and because of activities, people prefer to have even for
Zoom.
security reasons. Some persons prefer to have Zoom meetings. So did you have this kind of
We
platforms?
had a few Zoom meetings, but I must be frank with you that it was not very successful
Okay.
because of network problems.
Okay.
Zoom meetings, because of network problems, it was not successful, but we had a couple of meetings like that, yeah.
Okay. So how did you build and maintain relationship with government officials and other stakeholders? To be president general and to work with government because without the government, that union cannot be powerful.
Yeah.
And the government has a system of crumbling a union systematically. You understand? So how were you able to maintain good relationship with the government?
From my own experience, I observed that any union without a support from government or without the cooperation of government will never be a successful union. I mean, an ethnic nationality
Okay.
will not really be successful. And so that was why we were able, I really thank the government of the state for the assistance in helping us to build in Ndokwa Nation. There must be that mix. You are not there to fight any government, as a matter of fact. No, you are just there, one, to allow the government to know that your ethnic nationality is either being marginalized or they need the certain positions, and you appeal to government to do one or two things. My administration has been very, very blessed when it came to the support of the government of the day for our people.
Okay.
Don't forget that it is during my own administration that we have the deputy governor. Yeah, I know what happened, how we literally disturbed His Excellency Governor Kowa over the fact that Ndokwa Nation deserves to be
Deputy.
to produce the deputy governor. I knew how also we also disturbed him during his own second term for the Ndokwa Nation also to be in key positions. And today, for instance, we have our son as the Commissioner for Finance. We have our son as the MD of the Sopadec. We also have our son as the Deputy Governor. I mean, we can't say that Ndokwa Nation is marginalized.
Yeah.
And so I want to thank also the government officials for listening to us during my own administration, because we went appealing to them that please, Ndokwa Nation deserves this, deserve that, and deserve that. And they were able to do certain things for us, which I think is a plus for us.
All right. Thank you, sir. I want to go on break. When we come back, we'll continue this interview. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.